Welcome to the Madtown Maltster YouTube channel. This first series of videos that I'm doing is on my son and my first trip to Islay. We just went there in September of 2025. So the first day on Islay will be what this video covers. We went to Lagavulin and Bruichladdich. As you can see, we flew from Glasgow to Islay. And when you arrive at the Islay airport, your first impression is, wow, it's very small. They had these cool displays at the airport from the different distilleries. So that was obviously a good welcome to the land of whiskey. And they also have a very small airport, like I said, with just one baggage claim area here. Right across the street is the new Lagavulin Bay Distillery, which still is not quite open yet. My son and I stayed at the Macri Hotel. We actually won a contest through Lefroy, a friend of Lefroy's, and they put us up there at the Macri. And this is the front part of the Macri. You'll see my son here standing by the Macri as we unload. On Islay, checking out the island for the very first time. There's the Macri. So we arrived just a little bit after 8 a.m. and by about 9:30 we were on our way to our first distillery tour. Here you will see the Diageo Port Ellen maltings. We also went by the Port Ellen new distillery during our trip, but it'll be a little bit later on. Here is the town. We went by another distillery that is under construction, Port Truin. What was the name again? Truin. And here we are going by the warehouses for Lefroy. So these are right by the road. The distillery is closer to the water. Kicking off our Islay adventures here, day one on Islay. Just arrived a little while ago at Lagavulin. So, doing the classic tour and tasting today at Lagavulin. So Lagavulin had a very nice gift shop. As you would expect, there were some very expensive bottles. This was the bottle your own. It was a 12-year Madeira. It is one of the bottles, spoiler alert, that I did take home with me. Really a lot of interesting bottles here for Lagavulin. These Jazz Festival bottlings are really cool, the art. And then there's this 26-year-old, I think, up there for quite a bit of money. And here's where they told us to go to wait for the rest of the tour group to arrive. It is interesting because our tour group was my son and I and two other people. And usually the groups here are quite big, but they were having ferry issues, and a lot of people unfortunately missed their tour. So here's where we went to start the tour, and our tour guide was Callum, and he'll be talking here in a minute. The welcome dram was the 16-year, and then we started our tour.
Hear the term ppm level being mentioned, parts per million in the phenol content for essentially how smoky it's going to be. What we use in our production is 36 ppm. Our two neighbours either side of us here are both higher than that. They're both close to 50 ppm, I think our bigger kind of 50 to 55.
And we went outside to see the water source for the distillery. Always a key point on the distillery tours. And that was before we went in to see the milling process and to see their beautiful mill. You know, again, everything that people are proud of in these distilleries are these great mills.
That will last about 2.5 hours roughly, and we're putting through a little bit over 5 tons of malted barley through this during each batch. So a little bit over 20 tons go through this every day.
And it was pretty cool to get them to see them actually running the mill and being in production while we were there. There was a few of the distilleries we visited that were not in production. Then we moved into the area for mashing and got to see an actual mash going on.
Yeah. Good video of mash done here.
Next up, of course, are the washbacks. So we went to where they have their washbacks and are fermenting. Here you see the owl on top to scare away any birds that get into the area with the washbacks. And here's Callum again.
As you'll see, folks, here we have our 10 wooden washbacks. Now, the warps line from downstairs enters the room, that far corner, make clear the back of the room, fill up whatever washback it will be filling. So 21.5 litres of the warps, that hot shooting water from downstairs.
And next up, we went to the still house to see the distillation occurring. This was one area where they did not want us taking any photo or video other than at the entrance to it. So we just here have a little video and a couple of photos to show you. Here's the whole Lagavulin team, which is kind of cool. One thing interesting here, we went outside to see where they fill up the tankers. They actually don't fill the barrels here for Lagavulin. They go to the mainland and get filled and warehoused there.
The good spread goes down to big tanker type of stores, and the device in the back we use to fill up these tankers, then takes it away to the mainland to be cast and matured. That's the one that I did. As you see with the way originally a lot of series has weight work right up where let's see if there's fill. Of course these boats don't leave empty handed, they take the full casks away with them to be bought on the mainland.
And from Lagavulin, you can see the ruins of Donavig Castle. Some nice pictures here from the shore. It was a pretty nice day for being, on Islay. And then next stop was to go in and do our tasting. So for the tasting, we got to try 3 different Lagavulins. In our nice little tasting area here, we got to sample the 8-year-old standard range, the Distiller's Edition in their standard range, and then the 2025 Fashiel 15-year-old cast strength. After the tour, we went and checked out the bar, Mash Tun Bar, not Mash Tun Bar. Well, maybe it is Mash Tun Bar, I forget what they call it. And from there, we went on to get a chance to go by the Port Ellen, the new distillery. Had our driver stop there before we got to and went to Bruichladdich. So our second stop on our first day was at Bruichladdich, where we did the Bruichladdich experience. I think it's a 2.5-hour experience, which includes a tour and warehouse tasting. And it was truly an amazing experience.
Distillery number 2 here. We're at Bruichladdich. Getting ready for the Bruichladdich experience. Right on the shore of Bruichladdich.
The Bruichladdich Visitor Center is truly an amazing place. It's unbelievable array of bottles. Pretty much everything that I think they've ever made. Many things I didn't know about. Really a cool visitor center. They did have some hand-fills there, a Port Charlotte, as well as a standard Bruichladdich. And we did get to try those. We tried those after the warehouse tasting at the bar, basically right at the entrance. But yeah, here they had a lot of different hand fills. It's cool because they put photos of distillery workers they basically assign that bottle to a certain distillery worker. So the spoiler alert, this is the one that I picked up from Bruichladdich. And then we see some other unusual octomores up there. And of course, you know, you could go home with the 1,500 pound bottle of Bruichladdich 30, but I did not. So here we are starting our tour. They really didn't want us taking video on the Bruichladdich tour, so most of mine is just going to be photos. Just a truly beautiful location here at Bruichladdich. And obviously stopping in the beginning here at the mill house. They had Port Charlotte in all their malt bins, so they were getting ready to make Port Charlotte. Don't believe they were running. No, they were distilling when we were there, but they weren't grinding or milling anything. Here we are, go to the mash house, and they have a super old mash tun. I think it's the oldest one in Islay. It's huge. It's all mechanical. I don't remember exactly what this type of mash tun is called, but you guys probably know. And then from the mash tun to the wooden washbacks here, very nice setup here, very clean. We got to walk through there, obviously. And then I forgot to mention, well, here's the first picture, at least of the backside of Lewis. He was our tour guide. He was an excellent tour guide. This is kind of a famous still at Bruichladdich. It's Ugly Betty. Jim McEwen brought this over from a different distillery. And then here is the stills, the condenser on it, and pretty assuming still house, if you will, very straightforward. Stills obviously look fairly worn, and we get the spirit safes there. We didn't get to go too close to those, which is fine. I still got good enough photos, as you can see.
Oh, really? There's some rye in the system. That's spoiled.
And so the tour portion obviously concluded in the warehouse for our warehouse tasting. All the doors, everything you notice have that nice Bruichladdich aqua blue color. Here we are amongst the amazing casks holding very special whiskeys. An old dunnage warehouse with just like a tin roof, if you will. Very, very cool to be there. Nice tasting setup. Each had our own barrel, pairs of people per barrel. They gave each of us one of these tasting kits that had a copita glass as well as 3 empty sample bottles that were labeled. So we could take the extra samples, or if you were driving, you could have your driver's dram in there. There's Lewis talking about the casks. There's a couple of cool dudes tasting some great whiskey. We had a nice diverse group of guys in our tour group. Guys from Germany, guys from Switzerland. A couple of guys actually were staying at the same hotel at us. We saw them there. And just a really excellent time here at Bruichladdich. Great ambiance. Probably our favorite, my favorite and my son's favorite experience of the trip. Here you see the samples, what we got to taste. There was one Bruichladdich, one Port Charlotte, and an Octomore, all from the cask. I did try the polyphonic at the bar to make sure it was worth buying before I bought it. We did try the Blackguard 11.1, which was, of course, outstanding, as you can imagine. And also we tried one of the Valanche, they're hand-filled, I think they call them Valanches at Bruichladdich, this number 80 Colin Morris, which was tasty as well. And there's the haul from adding to it of the day, and also a bottle I got in Glasgow. Here's my son. We ate in a hotel restaurant, which is really tasty at the Macri. I forget the name of the restaurant, but just really, really good food there. I almost wish we would have got to eat there another day, but not quite the ambiance of some of the other places we went to, the Islay ambiance. Sticky toffee pudding was freaking incredible. I love sticky toffee pudding. Can't get that back here in the U.S., at least nothing like you can get there in Scotland. A couple of trams we had with dinner, and then just hanging out after dinner in the room next to the dining room there. So that ends our first day on Islay. Next up on day 2 is Ardbeg and Ardnahoe. If you enjoyed this video, I'll be releasing more videos on the trip, so go ahead and subscribe and like, and sláinte.